As our athletes, the best athletes in all sport, have become bigger and stronger and more skilled, the quality of the ice became more and more important. And very early in my term as commissioner, it became very clear that if you had to point to one place where people felt the ice in all of our arenas was the best, it was Rexall Place, then known as Northlands Coliseum. And the man who engineered that magnificent sheet of ice was Dan Craig.
It's like standing in front of a classroom. Your mind is going like, okay, don't miss a step here now.
One of the goals that we set for ourselves as a group, my first year here, was who had the best ice in the National Hockey League, and that was Minnesota. And we said, well, they can have that for 1 year. After that, we're taking it away. And that's what we did as a group. Everybody came on board, and we did all the ice maintenance, and everything just went as a structure, and everybody, bought in.
Our guys take a lot of pride in their work. It's a team effort. Everybody works together. There's charts that are done every day to know the depth of the ice. There's conversations over coffee as to what they're going to be doing at a certain day, how much ice they're going to be taking off, how much they're shaving, how much they're flooding. They're rated #1 and they want to stay #1, and their pride will keep them up at the top.
When you come out onto the ice and you're the first few guys on the ice, it didn't happen to me very often in my practice career, but you're the first few guys on the ice in practice in the morning. The ice is crisp. There was a freshness or a sharpness in the air of those mornings.
It was fabulous. Ice was always the best in the league. Believe me, I played in New York for a couple of years, and they'd be a basketball game. They'd have a basketball game in the afternoon, and we'd play that night, and the big chunks would come out of the ice. And LA was not much better, so the teams came here, and it was a much easier chore to play the game on that kind of ice.
The one thing you can't deny is how good the ice was and how fast it was, how fast our team was. You look back and you've seen how prolific the team was and how fast we were, but Craig was a big part of putting the ice together. Now he works with the NHL. So back in the day, there was a couple ice surfaces that were fantastic, and Edmonton was in the top 2. Minnesota was probably the other one.
Best ice in the league. That's what it was known for when I played here, and it was a bright rink for goalies. They liked that.
But the ice was second to none here. It was hard, it was fast, and it allowed certain players to be able to play the game that they were suited for. And for me, it was great because that's the way my game was built.
If you take a look at the difference of skiing on the East Coast to the West Coast, the snow that the guys ski on here is loose powder. Well, that's what the snow is that's on the ice. It's very loose, so that the puck always ran really well. So if you watch any of the back passes from Gretzky to Curry, and all of a sudden they're traveling 25 feet, you try to do that over in Boston and it's traveling 8. And that's the thing, is that you watch Wayne when he would go over there, if he wasn't comfortable with his passes, you could tell, because he wasn't trying those little passes that he would do here. The players told us when the ice was really good, and we just took all the numbers and all the charts from that particular time, and we made sure that we duplicated them as close as we could every single day. But when, as technology moved along, and a lot of the stuff that we use comes out of the agricultural field, which is a natural fit for us here. So when we build a spray boom, it's all you have to do is look out in the farm field, and you guys see guys spraying all the time. It's the same type of nozzle. So if they can spray it, so can we.
Here or any other rink, a lot of it is attention to detail, and I know that himself and then the crew that was working here, that was the #1 priority, making sure that everything was taken care of, every little detail was looked after. And they may have been, at that time, maybe ahead of where other people were at, which kind of set them apart. I don't think people realize how much time and effort goes into the actual process. There was going from the rodeo to playing a game today, right from the loadout, the crew here was working 24 hours a day around the clock just to get it to the point where the guys could come and skate today and so we could play today. It's not something that just happens within a few hours. You know, it takes a long time to build up the ice properly.
The process of getting the ice in generally takes anywhere from 36 to 48 hours. We'll have it actually painted in 8 to 12 hours. Once the floor reaches temperature, we put 4 thin layers of water on the surface. Once it's frozen, we then mix and bring out the spray boom, the machine that does all the painting, paint the surface white. We had the big trough, and it was definitely more labor intensive. You had to drag the hose around to spray the ice using a wand. Now the wand and spray boom, and it's a 12-foot boom that you drag around the ice. There's a powered wheel on it. It's all self-contained, which makes it easier, less cleanup. Add another 4 thin layers of water. Once that's all sealed in, we bring out the yarn, which is actually common knitting yarn, to make our straight lines, and the painting process begins. Well, we started out with wood stencils. The logos were much smaller back then, so we used a wood stencil that was in several pieces, put it down on the ice, and either trace it out or paint it in place, pick it up, clean up the edges, and then take it off the ice, fill in the gaps, seal it in with a coat of water. Then there was other times when we had paper stencils to do the logos for the advertising. They had pinholes in them, and you would drag chalk over top. The chalk would fall through the pinholes, and that would be your design for the ice. You would hand paint the rest of it. Then we went to the fabric logos. We have a stencil that we use, and that stencil, we lay it on the ice, make sure it's centered properly, and then draw the outside edges with a felt marker. Once that's completed, then you freehand the entire thing with paintbrushes. We had enough problems with the Center Ice logo that we decided to try painting it again, and it seems to have worked out really well. It's a tough process, it's hard in the body. I haven't done it fully for a few years now with my new position, but it's definitely satisfying to look down from the upper bowl and see how good the ice looks after it's freshly painted. Generally, the reason for using 2 Zambonis is to speed up the process, allow for some intermission entertainment, to take off more surface and lay down less water in a shorter period of time. We currently actually have 3. We have the 2 machines that are on the ice on a regular basis and a spare, but that does help significantly with the surface. It allows you to be quicker, allows more freezing time for the ice and the surface to set up for the players to come back after the intermission. Some people have thought it was a foot thick. It's really the NHL standards, 1.25 inches, which we all try to maintain. So the conditioner is the working part of the Zamboni, the big piece that sits on the ice, driving behind the machine. But there's actually 2 water systems, 2 tanks in the machine. One tank is the wash water, which sprays through jets in the bottom of the conditioner, washes the snow out of the cracks in the ice, any dirt off, lint, that sort of stuff. There's the blade that shaves off a certain amount of ice. That blade is very sharp. It's changed approximately once a week. We have to put guards on them. You're in danger of losing your finger if you mishandle it. There is also the water that comes out the back that everyone sees on television. Then that water lands on a rag, spreads the water out evenly across the ice, filling in the skate marks.
To me, one of the great things about this building, and we were actually really lucky because we had skating hockey teams, is the ice was always great. I mean, Dan Craig he's now the guru of ice making in the world, and we were lucky enough to have him here. And the ice was always great, and when you put the people you had in your hockey club at that time, you had Coffey, Glenn Anderson, Messier. Gretz wasn't the greatest skater, but he saw the ice well enough for the skater on his right side to score 100 goals. I mean, the ice was terrific, and it made for excitement in the building too.
You know, there's a lot of memories of this rink, all the way from a kid to working here, special events, cup runs. You know, I worked with the Oilers for the outdoor game, Heritage Classic, even up to a shinny game a couple years ago at Horlock Park. There's a lot of great memories within this building and with this organization.
Well, I think what I'm going to miss about this place is see the guys that I worked with, you know, and being able to visit with them, and you know, being gone for, you know, almost 18 years now, and still the guys are here, and being able to, you know, a firm handshake, and knowing that, you know, they're still carrying on a good part of what we did, you know, as a group.
Gretzky's got the open net.
I said something like, will he shoot? He does. He scores. And 5 goals tonight for Wayne Gretzky.
50th goal in 50 games.
Some teams don't learn from their mistakes, and we had so much respect for the Islanders. And we learned from that, and we took that into the next season. And consequently, we ended up winning the Stanley Cup.
I remember thinking to myself at the time, how'd that goal go in? We're all watching the game, and all of a sudden the puck's in the Oiler net.
How bad Steve felt after that happened the year before. I think he just wanted to give Steve the opportunity, you know, to redeem himself. And of course he did.
You know, the idea that Gretz came up with everybody to sit at center ice with the cup was just an amazing experience, you know. And it was new. It had never been done before.
Pass to the line, score! They have tied the game!
And it's 3-3, and people are turning around, and Wayne Gretzky drive in the middle of right in the middle of the road.
Kicked his leg like he was riding a Harley, and all of a sudden shot, and it went 5-hole.
Probably shouldn't have been a goal, if you really want to think about it.
The guys from Dallas, they'll always tell me, no, it didn't count, but in our eyes, we did.
It's dropped back from Bookberger, shoots